Hi, everybody. This is the officially unofficial geek channel. My name is Carrie Quinn, and you just tuned in to the Spoilertastic Weekly Comic Review, hosted by myself, where I talk about comic books that I read over the last week, and I tell you what I thought of them. And I do that in the is as little spoilers as possible. Let's just say that we call it the Spoilertastic Comic Review because sometimes the spoilers come out. It happens. We talk about the comics. We try to keep it as spoiler light as possible, but it still happens. So that's why I go ahead and I tell you guys spoilers might happen by putting that Spoilertastic at the front of the name of the show. Anyways, let's get into it. We are running our way to 250 subs. We are around 169, 170 right now. But I want to get you guys out there. I want to get something out to you to show my support and show my appreciation for your support. So we are doing a sub drive right now where we are going to be giving away a prize. So this is the first video that we're going to be talking about that. I actually filmed something beforehand that's going to go on tomorrow. So technically that would be the second video that comes up that talks about this. But this will be the first video that actually goes on the channel having to do with this giveaway. So I took a lot of time trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and what I ended up doing after much debate. So I was like, this is what we're going to do. I went out to Mage's Comics, Collectibles, and Games yesterday on Shelby Street, right here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana. And I didn't realize it, was speaking with the owner, and he gave me a wonderful idea. Gave me a wonderful idea of what to show off to y'all. And I'm pretty excited about it, actually. So we're going to go with showing you. There's two items, and when you win them, you're winning both of the items, okay? So let's do this. First off, we're going to talk about a foil variant of the Amazing Spider-Man number 252. Okay, a foil variant of the Facsimile for Amazing Spider-Man 252. This is really pretty. It's really shiny and it's beautiful, y'all. It really is. Now, most of you know me talking about the Amazing Spider-Man is kind of weird. So it's like I can offer that, but I also need to offer something else that's more me. More tells you a little bit about our channel here, especially if you're new here. So, what a lot of you that have been around know, you know that I'm a DC girl. I read a lot of DC comics. I read other stuff, but I read a lot of DC comics. So, let me tell you something right here. We got a DC book for you. We've got a classic DC book for you. We've got a great DC book for you. We've got a first appearance DC book to give to you as a giveaway. Possibly, you could win it. You can win a first appearance DC comic book here on my channel. Now, let me tell you something. If you've been following the DC books as of late, and you follow a lot of them like me, you know that there in the background of everything going on right now is the Amanda Waller. Amanda Waller, everybody loves to hate Amanda Waller, and I am no different. And if you have been paying attention to the DC comics, she is definitely going to be a force that happens in these books in the coming months. Let me tell you, it is ramping up for something that could be pretty awesome. So, the road to 250, yes, you get that Amazing Spider-Man facsimile of 252. Facsimile, let's say it right, Carrie. The facsimile foil edition of the Amazing Spider-Man number 252 facsimile looks beautiful, okay? I am not an Amazing Spider-Man reader, but you know what? That's some pretty shit, okay? You get that, and you get Legends number 1 from November 1986, the first appearance of Amanda Waller. Yep, that's what you get, guys. This is by no means going to break your bank or anything like that if you went to try to find out on your own. And it really did not break my bank either. But you know what? It has to deal with the fact that I'm a DC girl and I am ramping up in my head for what's going to be going on with this Amanda Waller stuff that's happening right now in the DC universe. So I figured, what better to offer to my listeners, my watchers, my subscribers, and my new subscribers, my new commenters, my new likes, than an opportunity to win the first appearance of Amanda Waller from Legends #1 from 1986. It is looks like a newsstand cover copy, and it's in okay condition. I would say I'm not much of a grader, but I'm saying you're gonna at least probably snag at least a 7.0 on this one. There's a little curvature to the curvature dip in the spine. Other than that, those colors, that purple in that background looks lovely. You've got the dark side there. You've got all that fun stuff there. You've got some Titans. You've got Shazam. You've got all that stuff going on there. And it is the beginning of that 6-part miniseries. And like I said, first appearance, Amanda Waller. Woo! And all you have to do to have a possibility of winning this puppy is subscribe if you are not subscribed already. Like each video that I mentioned the giveaway in, and comment in each video that I give the giveaway in about the video. Do that, you get an entry. Okay? Another way that you can get an entry is if you share my content that I talk about the giveaway in. Share it on Instagram or Facebook, right? So the way you're going to do that, it's going to work a lot easier probably on Instagram than it will on Facebook. You'll have to already be following me on Facebook or like my friend on Facebook, but you can do it there. But on Instagram, all I want you to do is share my content, provide information about how to find me, and tag me in your post. And then you get another entry. And I love Excel spreadsheets. I'm going to be keeping track of these in an Excel spreadsheet. I use Excel spreadsheets not only in my day job, but I use them in my regular life. And you all will give me an opportunity to use an Excel spreadsheet in having to do with this. I'm excited for that. But when we reach 250 subscribers, we will go ahead and we'll cut off those comments, those likes, all those things, those shares, and whatever is there. And eventually we will schedule the special giveaway video in which I will give away those books as two for one, all for you. Anyways, I think I've hyped this enough. Let's go ahead and let's get into the reviews because that's why you're here in the first place, y'all. I'm also going to be throwing in just another side note for the giveaway. I'm going to find other stuff to throw in with that. It's not just going to be the 2 comics because we're going to take a little time probably getting the 250. I'm not even going to sit here and be like, this is going to happen overnight. It's going to take a little time, but I'm going to find over time other stuff to add to it, like stickers and crap like that, and bookmark maybe. I don't know, but I'll add to it. And yeah, but okay. Anyways, let's get into the comics, shall we? We shall. As always, we do these in no particular order until we hit my top 3 books of the week, in which I will give all the pomp and circumstance needed for my top 3 books of the week, and you will know the difference. Anyways, one of the first 2 books that I want to talk about are books that came out at another time. They did not come out this week, but I really wanted to go ahead and talk about them real quick. I recently did a review of Phantom Road #8, and it felt disjointed to me and everything like that. And I go back and I realize, guys, I never read Phantom Road #7 because for some reason I didn't get it when it came out. So I went ahead, contacted my LCS. I was like, guys, I don't think I got #7 of Phantom Road. They're like, you know what? Here we go. It's in your stack. and I got it this week. So now that I've read Phantom Road number 7, stuff in Phantom Road number 8 makes sense. Congratulations. Cool. My review, parts of it still stand because there's parts of it that are still, even with this book filling it in, doesn't make enough sense to me. And I realize that maybe that's the purpose of what's going on here. But no, yeah. Um, I'm like kind of like tethering between the whole idea of like continuing reading it and tossing it aside. Like I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Like I really liked that first arc, that was out there. I really liked it, enough that I continued with it. Um but but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much of the whole like we're going to lead you down a road and you're not going to know exactly what's going on kind of writing I can deal with. Like, I'm really invested into Tenement by Jeff Lemire, but like, it's just like, I'm not sure if my brain can handle that much more. And it has nothing against Jeff Lemire and what he's doing here. This is really quite good work. This is really quite good. Um, I just don't know if it's for me anymore, but we'll see. We'll see. Next book I was supposed to get last week, but I did not get. There was some um, uh, logistics problem involving the weather, all that. So I did not get Dracula until this week. And let me tell you, it finished strong. It finished great, and I love this artwork. I think the artwork is one of the major standouts by Martin Simmons. Phantom Road, as always, is Jeff Lemire, Gabriel H. Walta, and Jordi Belair. Sorry, I forgot to do that. And Dracula issue 4 concludes that series. It is from Image, Skybound, and it is James Tynion IV and Martin Simmons on that art that I was already talking about that I loved so much. Guys, so good. So good. Such good art on this one. I'm not going to take very much time talking about it. You guys know that I've liked Dracula pretty consistently, especially that art by Martin Simmons the whole time, the whole run. So let's move on. I'm trying to do this as quickly as possible, guys, because if I go over an hour, y'all don't stick with me. Y'all don't watch the videos if I go over an hour. So let's do this. We got to keep going. We got to keep on going. We're going to keep on going to the Incredible Hulk. Incredible Hulk number 8. That is Johnson, Klein, and Wilson. Love that Nick Klein artwork. Really great. He actually colored some of the pages. Not all of them, but he did color some of these. I feel like I'm finally trying to, or not trying to, but I finally am connecting the dots of what Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing here. And it is really rather interesting and kind of a really cool psychological situation with the Hulk and Bruce Banner. Bruce Banner and the Elder inside of the Hulk fighting for control of the Hulk. And the Hulk not wanting either of them to control him. And then you have the Ghost Rider situation where we have a Ghost Rider who is also somebody dealing with the influence of the Elder within himself, but he explains it to the Hulk like this when the Hulk is asking him about it. He's like, the reason why it's a little bit easier is because us Ghost Riders, we're rebels by nature. We don't conform to authority. So we're that way by nature. So we're already going to have an easier time fighting off what is going on with the Elder inside of us, the Elder demon, trying to influence our decisions. And he kind of gives the Hulk a little bit of insight into what he thinks makes it easier for the Hulk to resist this demon mother elder being, and how it might play into the future of the story. And it's really interesting. It's a quick read. Let me tell you guys, one of the quickest reads every month, but also one of the more interesting reads every month is The Incredible Hulk. Listen, you can read that thing. If you need a book that has meaning and substance while also being just a quick little read. Incredible Hulk. Get it. Whew, moving right along, guys. Yep. Moving right along. Okay, if you've if you've never seen the Muppets, then you have no idea what I did just then. But if you have seen the Muppets, you know that moving right along. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So we're going to talk about Alan Scott Green Lantern #4, and as I have said it before, I will say it again right in a moment. I am loving this resurgence of a lot of Golden Age characters being retold or reimagined in modern times, where maybe they're not completely reborn or reimagined, but we're getting extra little tidbits into who they are in a modern age type of writing. Okay, so you have, if you've ever read any of the Golden Age type writing, especially let's use Alan Scott Green Lantern for an example. Green Lantern, Alan Scott's Green Lantern, first appeared as part of an anthology book called All American Funnies, and it was issue number 16. Okay, this is back in the Golden Age time period. All right, and what happened was is that All American Comics was one of these comic books that had stories, and a lot of them were repurposed from newspaper funnies and put into like the bigger books to sell as like kind of anthologies, you know. Um, and Alan Scott's Green Lantern was first introduced in that one, um, and it was the the origin story, the first appearance of that. It was the first It was the first story in that issue, and also like if you have any, they recently did a facsimile of that one, where you definitely see like he is the main event because he's the one on cover. But the writing style is so much different between now and back then. There's a cheesiness to comics back then that can still exist here in the now, but not in the same way. And it is definitely not the norm. Okay. So basically, it's taking and reimagining the story of Alan Scott's Green Lantern, giving us more information as well to Green Lantern, and retelling it for the new time period, the now, the here and now, y'all, the 2024 of it all, and 2023 because that's when the series started. Um, but we've got Sheridan, Tormey, Fernandez, Livesay, Turgana, and Herms in this book. And what I love about this book is we get more answers as to what happened to Alan's boyfriend that became the Red Lantern, and why all that happened. We get a lot of narration from the Red Lantern and a little bit of action between him and Alan Scott. I love this little moment where you have this page in there where it's like it's basically the typical American family in the 1940s sitting there next to the radio listening. And they're like, "We're breaking into the regular programming with this news bulletin. The two lanterns are fighting, blah blah blah, but it's okay because the Green Lanterns got this covered. As always, we'll let you know if anything happens. Now back to your regular programming." I love that. That was like one of those things where I could see where that might annoy certain people, but like that I actually really like that about the book. And I've been really loving this whole like, what do I want how do I want to put this whole resurgence of Golden Age, where it's happening in like just individual books and also in other stories, where you're seeing these things. And it's really cool. Like you got some Sandman stuff, you got Green Lantern, there's like some Hop Harrigan, popping up, in a couple of spots, and it's just I love it. It's really cool. You got the whole JSA comic book, like that's by Jeff Johns. I've been really liking that one too. So like I'm doing good right now. All right. Cause like I even like the cheesy like stuff that's like from like back in the day, like from like the 30s and 40s, like in some of the 50s. I actually even like that stuff. So, but I like it in a different way. Yeah, I'm weird. I know. Next book that we're going to talk about is a surprise to me, guys, because Batman Off World #3. I was so ready to just be like, I wasn't really digging the first two issues enough to keep going, but I decided to keep going, and I'm glad I did because this one ramped it up. This one ramped it to 10. We've got Aaron, Mankey, Mendoza, and Burin on this book, and that cover. That's hot. Okay. That's hot. I don't know if I need to explain why that's hot. That's the whole art team doing that cover. And that's hot. Let me tell you. That is Batman writing like a wolf-like character. Like that's hot. That's hot. Um whew. And I love this because what you think is going to like you're pretty sure this is supposed to be like six issues, right? And about halfway through this issue, you're sitting there and it feels like Jason Aaron is wrapping stuff up, you know? Like Batman is accomplishing his main goal and taking out the one guy, the one leader, and he does it and he's successful and he takes over that ship. And you're thinking, this is wrapping up and this is only issue 3. What's going on here? But then you get to the nitty-gritty of the end. And let me tell you something. It's one of those things where it's like Batman knows he's accomplished what he came to do initially, but that's changed now. Cuz he's going after the bad behind the bad. And that's what the second half of this little mini series is going to be dealing with. And now I think I'm in. I think I'm finally in, guys. Everybody that has been telling me Batman Off World is fantastic, and I've been lukewarm to it. And they're like, this is great. This is great. This is awesome. Picking it as like some of their favorites of the month, doing all those things. And I'm like, eh? Now I'm in. Okay? I'm in now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm here. Sorry I'm late. But let's talk about World Tree #7. All right. So I am still kind of in this. I know other people kind of teetered out on this one. But and it could go. It could so easily jump over on the other side for me. Like it could stay over here and be into it still. And then I could very easily end up over here and not into it, depending on what happens next. But we've got Tinian, Blanco, Belair, and Bidikar on this one. Um, what is kind of one of these things for me, like at the end of the first arc, we got kind of a look at what was happening involving the far future, involving everything that everybody's doing now and has been doing now or did in the first arc. And at the end of the first arc, we got this look into the far future. And it was interesting. And it's one of those things where it's like, I kind of understand what he did there. And he was like, okay, so I'm going to give you this look at where we're headed. But then we're we're a couple issues deep into the second arc. And we really haven't seen anything from that far future. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. And since I'm undecided about how I feel about that, I can't really say for sure that I'm completely into it. Kind of like what I'm saying, like I could stay over here and be completely into it, or I could go over here and be completely not into it anymore. Um, I'm not completely sold on this, and the fact of the matter is that some of these characters just feel so. Um, there are really a lot of characters in this fucking book. I don't know if anyone's really touched on this. There's a lot going on, and there's at least how many different fucking scenes that we had in this thing. We had a flashback. We had the here and now with the group of Gabriel's group. We have the FBI agents interrogating someone and what's going on with that. And then we have Ellison and his girl with his sisters. And you start to find out what the sisters have to do with anything. So you have 4 different things like happening in this book. And all of a sudden, like in the last issue, you were introduced to his sisters, Ellison's sisters. So he's got 3 sisters, and his brother was the one that died in the first issue. And y'all, we haven't seen. No, excuse me. I missed one. We have 5 different scenes. There's the one kid that's under guard, and there was like a couple pages with him, and I'm still kind of like not sure I remember what's going on there. So 5 different groups of people to try to keep track of. And when it comes right down to it, I don't care enough about any of them. And I don't know if that's the point, but usually by now, when you're 7 issues deep into a book, you start actually caring about some of the characters. There hasn't been presented enough to get me to a point where I care about these characters or any of them for that matter. And I don't know if that's the point or what, but that's how I'm feeling right now with that one. Guys, we have reached the point where we are talking about my top 3 books. Woo! Fanfare, fanfare, top 3 books. Woo! Woo! Everybody excited? Let's do this. One of them I can't even show you on camera. I can't show you the cover on camera. YouTube might have a problem with it. But one of them I can show you on camera is Duke, number 2 from Image, Skybound. Joshua Williamson, Tom Riley, Jordi Belair. This is the 2nd issue, and it is great. Great follow-up to that first issue, to that new introduction to a new world of Duke, to a new world of G.I. Joe, and this whole engine universe. Duke is, of course, on the run, and Duke has sworn up and down that he saw these robots flying and changing, and nobody wants to believe him. And he's like, I swear to God. He found out some stuff about the government he doesn't necessarily like. They're trying to find him. They're trying to capture him. He's on the run, and he, makes some discoveries along the way. We get introduced to new old characters from the world of G.I. Joe. We get a little bit of a Destro spotting, sighting. It's all pretty cool right now. You find yourself in a position where you're like, how does if they want to eventually put themselves in a position with this universe that Duke ends up being one of the leaders of G.I. Joe, if they're still interested in doing it that way, right now is really weird. You're wondering how the heck does he end up in a position where he ends up being the leader of G.I. Joe? How does he end up in a position he ends up being one of the leaders of G.I. Joe at this point? This is a long game. And it's pretty fucking cool at this point. I'm going to make. Okay, so my top three are just my three favorite books. And I don't want to talk about. I say that I don't want to talk about them in any particular order, but I want to make some statements involving the last one that I can't make with the first one that are a little bit more. A little bit more. But this book, I cannot show you the cover. I went to pick up my books this week on Thursday because I had to wait to get paid by my job. Okay. And so I wasn't picking up on Wednesday like everyone usually does. And I get there and they knew I wanted this and they had it specifically set aside for me. But like, I don't recall the cover I requested of this book. I don't. I might have requested this cover, y'all. Um, I might have been feeling a little bit randy in the situation and requested this cover. Um, but I don't recall. And I told them, I told my LCS in the very beginning when I switched to them, I was like, guys, I might request a cover. I might make my decisions a little bit late and I might request a cover. However, um all what I care about most is the book, not necessarily the cover. So if I request a cover and it's outside of the FOC, um just get me the cover. Yeah, don't just no, just give me the book. The cover is secondary, right? Um so I get there and they go to pull my regular books and then they have another slot for my oversized, which is distillery. Let's just go there. It's distillery book. And they pull it out and it is in one of these black polyform bags. And I'm speaking, of course, of Somna by Tula Lotte and Becky Cloonan. And that's the book. That's the book, y'all. Because that polyform, when removed, you definitely see plenty of boobies. And it's going to be one of those ones where it is definitely a mature book because you definitely have sex, boobies, nudity, all that jazz. And it is throughout the book. Can't even show you parts of it. But let me tell you something. When I say that I love the way that they go back and forth, and I've said this before with the first one, where they go back and forth between Becky Cloonan and Tula Lotte's artwork to denote the difference between this dreaming, non-reality versus actual reality. So cool the way they do that. And I love it. It's two different types of art styles going back and forth, and it's not confusing and it adds to the story. Great idea, ladies. Great idea. It is a naughty book through and through. And I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to specify that. I'm going to stress that. Okay? Because even though it is a naughty book, it is written very well with a great story and a lot of fun. And you know you're seeing boobies, but like it's art. It's art. It's not smut. It's art. In a very interesting story, psychological thriller, psychological supernatural thriller. Well done. Well done. Now I went ahead and I mentioned that one first because now I'm going to really talk to you about a really great book. I had made the comment earlier in this video that I am a DC girl, and I am very much a DC girl. Very much so. But I want to say right now that there was not a DC book in my top 3 for this week because I was watching another channel here and they were talking about Avengers Twilight #1 by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna. And I had originally not wanted to read that. For some reason, it was just like, oh gosh, I'm not really an Avengers person. Um, so why would I read this? I mean, I like Chip Zdarsky's writing on Batman and other stuff that I've seen him do, but I've never actually read any of his. No, excuse me. I read some of his Spider-Man work. Actually, the one that was like it was kind of like a what if tale, and I can't remember, the Spider Shadow or something like that. I read some of that. That wasn't bad. Um, but with the exception of reading random stuff here and there, like I've read the first appearance of the Avengers. I am not an Avengers stan. I've liked the movies. I've done that. But I've never really been a big Avengers person. Okay. But let me tell you something. When I read Avengers Twilight #1, I sat there between me and my boyfriend and I said, Chip Zdarsky, he is onto something here. He is onto something that could be very great here. And I mean that. I think there's people out there that make platitudes about what they hope their writing will mean to people, what they hope people will feel with their writing. And I don't know, maybe he's made these same platitudes. I haven't seen it. I haven't read it. I haven't heard of it. Whatever. But Chip Zdarsky is absolutely killing it on Batman. Believe me, I expect next week's Batman to be predicting right now. Don't know if it's going to be true. Haven't seen it yet. Saw the preview in the back in some of the DC books this past week for the beginning of the Joker Year One tale that he will be writing and he'll be, putting out there starting next week. It looks good so far, y'all. That little tidbit in the back of the DC books this week, it looks good. I read it. Um, he has got something here. I don't know if I want to say it. I don't know if I want to put it out there what I'm thinking. I've said it privately to my boyfriend because my boyfriend has read them as well. I think he's really on to something. I think he's really on to if he runs this ball in for the touchdown, if he scores that goal, if he doesn't drop it before then, before he gets to the goal line, he is really onto a perennial tale of the Avengers, in particular Captain America. Basically, what Avengers Twilight is doing is it's showing Captain America has retired. Captain America at the beginning of the book series no longer has the super soldier serum coursing through his veins. He is retired. He's he's an older dude, okay, and he is kind of trying to navigate the world as it is now. And all of a sudden, he notices that things start happening. Um, People are being told that their rights are being some of their rights are being taken away in the name of safety and privacy. But what it really is it's not safety or privacy. It's the government wanting to prevent people from questioning them. It allows the government to have more power. People in power have more power. And Captain is noticing this. Steve is noticing this. And he doesn't like it. Well, then he reconnects with some of his old friends, Luke Cage and others. And they're all like, no, man, you are right. This is not good. Right. And he starts witnessing the things happening. And then things are starting to happen where, I mean, there are people out there trying to do these news stories where they're talking about how Red Skull really wasn't as bad as people think he is, and they're trying to rewrite that history. He's like, no, 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 Red Skull really was that bad, and he's just like, he's so like, he's so taken aback by all of this, and then he has interactions with Tony Stark's son and everything, and these interactions, and then Luke Cage is like, man, we got to do something. America needs something they can get behind. Everybody can get behind. So they found some super soldier serum, and at the end of the first issue, they're injecting him with that serum. The Cap is back. Okay. And so this month issue, they're starting to put their plan into action. And he's trying to get people on his side. They make a big announcement and scene on New Year's Eve. And this is basically the beginning of them trying to take back what it means to be a hero. Because let me tell you, the Avengers now, in this story, they're not the good guys. They are a weapon of a tyrannical government. And he wants to kind of take back, along with the people he's working with, like Luke Cage and the Defenders. He wants to take back what it means to be a hero, and what it means to be an American, and what it means to be free, and what it means to be just a good hero, good person, all those things. And this is, the people need something to stand behind. And right now we have, in real time in society, the people need something to stand behind. And we don't have that right now. I'm of the opinion that we don't have that right now. We don't have something that we can stand behind and all be joined in a common thing, a common goal, a common feeling. We don't have that right now. And this is talking to the idea that this is not the same idea, and needing someone that we can all get behind. And that's why I think this is a really powerful piece. And there are certain pieces that we find from time to time in the world of it's so dry in here, in the world of comic book reading, that every once in a while want to speak to everything that's exactly going on in that moment, in that time, in history, in how our heroes regain what's missing. And that is something that I think Chip Zdarsky is trying to do. He's trying to affect change with his writing, or at least open up people to the idea that things are not the way they should be. Not a lot of people take the time out to do that in their writing, and do it in such a way that it makes sense, and that everyone can look at and be like, you know what? This is something. And those Alex Ross covers are pretty fucking awesome though too. Oh man, this one in particular. That is lovely. That is lovely. I'm glad I got into this. Thank you, Chip Zdarsky and Danielle Kuna, for writing this book. This is lovely. This is very, very lovely. This is, he is onto something here, and if he can get that, he can get it past the goal without dropping the ball. Shit. If he gets through this and he does not rest on his laurels, if he really pounds this, if he really takes this to the edge, This is going to be something that we should be talking about for years to come. This is going to be something that people years from now will look at and be like, this was a turning point. He has the capability of doing something. And I don't know if it's possible in today's society of doing that, but if he does, I sure as hell want to be there to read it. If he does it, I sure as hell want to be there to read it. So I'm going to keep reading this because oh, if he does what I think he could do with this, this is something. This is something here. This is something that we haven't seen since the 80s. Okay? I cannot stress enough the importance of reading right now Avengers Twilight. 2 issues in, go get it. Go find it. If you can't find that first issue, if you can't find that second issue because it's sold out, get it online. Read it digitally. Do it. This is gonna be something. If he can do it, good luck, sir. Good luck. Um, Anyways, guys, that's it. That's all I got for you this week. Remember the giveaway. Legends #1 from 1986, the first appearance of Amanda Waller, and the facsimile foil edition of the Amazing Spider-Man #252 could be yours. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, and when you share it, tag me on Instagram at officiallyunofficialgeek. Get entered for that prize. Every comment, every comment and like, there you go. And then every share is another one. So every time you comment and like or you share, you're entered into that drawing. So, but also subscribe. You have to subscribe as well, because then we don't get to 250 by you waiting on subscribing. So subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I love doing this. I want to build this channel. That's my ultimate goal right now, is to build this channel to 250 to 500 to 1,000. This is where I want to be. This is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is me for the long haul. And I hope you come with me. But until next time, that's it for us. So keep your eyes and ears open. And if you see something, say something. And remember, the complacent never make a difference. So in 2024, don't be complacent. Go out there, make a difference. Until next time, this has been the Spoilertastic Weekly Comic Review here on the Officially Unofficial Geek channel. I am Carrie Quinn. I'm the OUG. I'm the Officially Unofficial Geek. And I'll be seeing ya until next time.